wear the same things over and over again. You just have them surrounded by all of these other clothes that you don't wear and that you pass over and that you don't feel good in and you kind of regret buying, but you think the only way to make that buying decision right is to keep it and wear it. And so I've just been willing to move all that extra stuff out and just leave the stuff I wear every single day that fits and that I feel good in. But I have other videos on simplifying your wardrobe, so I'll link to those down below if you're interested in that. I don't miss any of it. Any of the stuff that I got rid of. This is not living sacrificially. So let's go down. The door to the basement is in this room. I know this room's kind of wonky, but let's go down there and I'll show you how much I keep in storage as well, because that is also quite limited. Okay, so our basement is kind of like our main storage space. What is fascinating to me is how much I used to keep in storage that I never used ever again. It was just like this guilt. It was all this like deferred decisions, stuff I thought I would use when another season of life came, and I was never using it. So I just decided to let that stuff go. My main criteria for decluttering our house was, am I using it now, or will I for sure use it in the upcoming year? And if I couldn't say yes to one of those two questions, I decided, as kind of a great experiment, to let that stuff go. And I'm here to tell you that I miss none of it. None of it. So in our basement, we keep very limited storage. Most of the things are things that I'm fairly confident that we will use in the upcoming year. And so I have one bin for Christmas, one bin for like extra backpacks and overnight bags, one bin for extra shoes, one bin for extra clothes or out of season clothes. And I really use these as containers to limit how much I keep. I have a couple bins for extra kitchen stuff that doesn't fit easily in our kitchen. Our kitchen upstairs is very small. So I like keeping some of this down here. I have bins for extra winter stuff for the kids, and also like a bin for Operation Christmas Child. We throw some stuff in there throughout the year. Party supplies, life jackets, hunting stuff for Tom. And I mean, like, this literally is the bulk of our storage. Like, this is most of it. And then we, like, behind me, we have these bins that are more of like plumbing and electrical, and, you know, Tom's very handy, so that kind of stuff that he might use, painting stuff. So kind of the more hardware stuff of our house. But Tom keeps some stuff in the garage for like his tools and stuff, but for me, for storage, this is the bulk of it. I've had to let a lot of my hobby stuff go, sewing and craft projects, because it caused me a lot of guilt. I would see these unfinished projects and think like, oh no, you wasted money on that. Oh no, you need to finish that. And I've just learned that this season of life, I don't have time for that stuff. I do have some videos where I've simplified these spaces and kind of some of the logic that I used to talk myself through. I'm not saying it's always easy to let go of this stuff, but I can't believe how much more peaceful and how much better our house feels now since I was willing to let that stuff go. Now, here in the bathroom where I get ready, I very much use the container concept. So I just keep what comfortably fits in my few drawers and underneath the sink. Now, for me, comfortably fits has evolved over the years. I like drawers and cabinets that are only about half full, because I find that it's much easier to put stuff away, and there is a higher likelihood that I will actually put stuff away. Now, adjacent to here is our laundry room where Tom keeps his clothes. Again, our house is a little wonky at times, but whereas I use count for my clothing and I had a specific number that I was trying to adhere to, he uses the containers as guidelines in here as well. So he just keeps what fits in his bins and in his dresser, and that works great for him. Now, it's a little harder to quantify the numbers of things in our living spaces. It really depends how much space you have. But something that I have limited is the number of flat surfaces in these areas. So we have one coffee table and no end tables or side tables. But we really don't eat or drink in this room, and so we don't miss them. But by having fewer flat surfaces, there's less area to collect stuff that then I have to clean off. So having just one table in this room works really well for us. All right, let's go controversial again and talk about books. So I know myself now, and I have this one basket that fits under our bed, and then I usually have one or two on the side table next to my chair in here. We're all impacted differently by the messages that our stuff sends us. And for me, I feel that same sense of like FOMO, or fear of missing out, if I have more books than I have time to read them and learn from them. And so I try to keep it pared down to just this basket. If it starts to fill up, then I'll go through, especially like towards the bottom, and donate or pass on ones that I'm not using anymore. And for me, this is a great boundary or limit to how many books that I keep. Now, I recently talked about kids' toys in a video we just did where we did our deep declutter and clean of this bedroom. So as they get older, I want to teach them how to manage their own inventory, and we go through that in that video. But for kids' toys, just remember to keep it very simple. Kids are minimalists at heart, really, I believe, and they thrive in highly simplified environments. And I'm obviously not going through every single item in our house, but I think you can start to see my logic of count or container. I'm either going to keep what comfortably fits in this container or a certain number based on the number of people in our household. And so those have been really helpful tools to me. But I know I sometimes struggle to put to words like how good our house feels now, and I have videos on the silent to-do list and about how our things are talking to us. And again, having a clean house doesn't make us a good person or a bad person, but I have noticed for myself that I am very sensitive to my surroundings, and I feel better when our house is picked up and tidied up. And so last fall we created the Easy Awesome Bundt Cake recipe book, and we took donations for it to support Dorothy's house down in Mexico. We raised over $80,000 for her, and the well is installed, and now they're working on getting all of the infrastructure in place for it to go to their facility where they help women out of really difficult situations. So over $80,000. Thank you so much. It's still available if you would like to buy it for $5. And now we're switching our focus to Casa Shalom, which is an orphanage down in Guatemala. So the couple that runs it actually goes to our church. And so we said, hey, we would love to partner with you. Is there any project we could help you with that would make a big difference to the lives of the children down at Casa Shalom? So they had kind of this dream of installing solar because that would free up $1,000 a month in their budget that they could use to hire more counselors to work with the kids that they are taking in there. And so all the proceeds now from Easy Awesome Bundt Cakes is going to go to Casa Shalom. And then we also did come up with this printable of minimalism by the numbers that literally goes through our whole house. And we broke it down, the numbers by minimalist, simple living, and cozy. So I understand that not everybody wants to be a full-out minimalist, and that is totally fine, honestly, totally fine, right? And so we break it down kind of depending on how far you want to go, but it can be really helpful. There's also columns for you to put in your own numbers and your goals for your own house, and so it can be a really helpful worksheet, especially for those of you who really like the numbers, right? So that's also available for $5. If you want to make a bigger donation, you're welcome to do that as well. So I'll put all the details for that down below as well, but thank you in advance for partnering with us. I just think of these kids down in Guatemala who we'll never get to meet, most likely, right? But for them to know that there are other people in the world who care about them and are investing in them, I just think that is so cool. So thank you again in advance for that. All right, well, I'm gonna wrap this up now, but thank you so much for watching. And like I said, I'll link to some of those other videos on clothing and storage areas if you're hoping to simplify those in your own home as well, because it makes such a huge difference. And I did touch on it before, but this in no way feels like we're living sacrificially. It feels like how we were meant to live. We're not meant to be stuff managers, right? It feels like we're meant to manage very little so that we can focus on other things that are more important to us. All right, I love you. I hope you have a really good day, and I'll see you again soon.